Okay, everybody, just about ready to get started. Hi. So hi, everyone. My name is Karl Lashkari. I am a men's leadership coach around relationships and business. I'm from San Diego, California. Came here to Tulum about 3 weeks ago, and we'll be here indefinitely for now. So my talk today is about what I call congruent leadership. Developing the new leaders we want in this world to create the change that we are all asking for, to make the changes and be the people to do it, and how we need to evolve as men and women to be able to be that type of person for this world, to be able to make that change. And that's going to be through connecting to our power center and connecting with our hearts. Being full spectrum people who can play in both fields. So, as we all know today, there's a lot of division going on in our world. In our society, there's division with races, cultures, genders, socioeconomically. There's division in relationships, power struggles, a lot of mind games, a lot of not cohesive team playing type mentality through many, many relationships. That's why our divorce rates are so high right now. That's why our infidelity rates are climbing. And we have division in our businesses. A few people at the top with all the power, all the money, being able to dictate how everything runs, and a lot of people feeling like they're helpless to the situation, like they can't focus on their health. They can't focus on their families. They can't focus on their own creativity and innovation and what feels right and good to them. So, in terms of all this division, who here has some ideas, some thoughts around what are some of the primary drivers that you feel like is causing where we are at now? What's that, brother?
The new world is happening, our world is dying. That's how I feel the division is happening. And yourself, go inside and we solve our own inner.
Anybody else?
Media. The media.
The media, ooh, that's a big one. That's a big one. Politics, yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with all of those. And for me, underneath that, I feel my personal opinion is there's an overall lack of leadership in this world. A lack of powerful, heart-driven leadership. I'm personally just getting sick and tired of people who have power lacking heart and people who have heart lacking power. And as you mentioned, there's a rise in that. It's changing, and all of us here, we're changing that. And that's what I feel like we really need to promote. And leadership, I believe that the state of masculinity and the state of leadership cultures have been related since the beginning of time that we know. In the early 1900s, when it was very, very patriarchal, everything, there was positives where capitalism came and there was growth, the industrial age, and also there was war. And there was a lot of war. It was masculinity leading the state of things. And as we've come into the late 1900s and 2000, and we are incorporating feminine energies into our world, you're seeing more equality, we're seeing growth, we're seeing more unity, and we're also seeing a lot of men losing their masculine power as the new world is evolving. And we're seeing a lot of people just confused and not necessarily knowing how to step up into leadership. And like I mentioned earlier, the people who are heart-driven are so caught up in what needs to change, but not necessarily attuned with how they can step up to make that change. So this leadership that's been lacking has shown up in all these areas that I mentioned where there's division. In businesses, the lack of leadership has just resulted in a lot of unhappy workforce. And as Athena, as you mentioned in your talk, be unable to keep employees and keep your workforce together. And it's also resulting in a lot of people pushing their health to the side, pushing their family to the side. I mean, I worked in the management consultant industry, I worked in the hedge fund industry and in tech startups, and people were just have to give themselves completely to someone else's will. The lack of leadership in relationships is showing up in confusion in relationships, lack of communication. A lot of the feminine, whoever the feminine is in the relationship, typically the women, sometimes can be the man, not feeling safe, lacking trust. And that's where the mind games comes, the game playing with stronger leadership, that can be dissolved. And where it's showing up in society, I don't think I even really need to say, or those of you from the US, government by the people, for the people, right? Bullshit. That needs to change. So my call to action is us as men and women, us as leaders doing this, we need to learn to inhabit all parts of ourselves, our masculine and our feminine, our power and our heart. Being able to step into our masculine traits of power, purpose, structure, courage, penetration. Being able to step into our feminine traits of an open heart, compassion, love, flow, play, all of that. You know, we're past the days where we had gender roles back in the 50s where the man just has to make the money, make the decisions, take care of everything, and he's not connected with his heart. He doesn't have to worry about that, no nurturing capabilities whatsoever. And then the woman is taking all the burden of the nurturing, all the burden of the love, but not able to sustain herself financially, not able to sustain herself. Those days are gone. We are now in a place where we can build capabilities to be a fully spectrum person, and then we can choose when we want to inhabit it. Like in relationships, I still believe in, I enjoy having traditional dynamics, but when it's a choice, when it comes from both of our power. So it's time for us to step into these traits. And what I believe is the reason why we're having so much division in our culture, so much division in our relationships, so much division in our business, is because we have so much division within ourselves. We are getting so distracted and pulled out of our body rhythms, pulled out of our natural way of being and where we are today. And a lot of the things are great, right? We have technology, we have feminism, and we have globalization, all amazing things. But they are causing some confusion. With technology, these constantly being in our phones, constantly waking up, checking our phones, communicating that way, it's pulling us completely into our heads. You know, as it is, we've been a society that's growing more masculine, growing into our heads, getting out of our bodies. It's putting us more into our heads by constantly glued to visuals and words and information, and there's just more we can get. It's making our brainwave states be in the beta state all the time, which is the stress state, not allow us to be in the relaxed alpha and theta relaxation states. It's forcing us to be in our sympathetic nervous system, our fight or flight response, because there's just so much to do and so much information around. You know, with globalization, again, another beautiful thing, but there's a lot of rules coming with it because you have cultures and societies with hundreds of years of ways of doing things now all commingling. And then as we see in Twitter and the Twitter police, there's rules being placed about how you're supposed to act, how you're supposed to talk. And even though we want to unify, we don't want to lose ourselves in doing so. I'm from California, and the reason I'm not in California right now is because I'm tired of you have to think in this column or you have to think in this column. I mean, how can we be fully expressed as humans if that's the way we're going? Democrat, Republican, left, right, wealthy, poor, all of that. We're all humans. We all have our individual complexities and traits. So globalization is definitely causing some confusion for all its beauties, and as is feminism. You know, just people are figuring out how to relate and how to fit with the new paradigm. a beautiful paradigm with so many beautiful women here stepping up into their power, so many men stepping to their hearts and collaborating, and it's amazing. But I know with a lot of the men I've worked with in my coaching programs, you see a lot of men stepping into what's called the nice guy syndrome, where they're trying to be open and they're trying to allow this change to happen, but they're losing that identity within themselves. They're losing that leadership within themselves because they're afraid of their own power. They're afraid of their own leadership because they're being told that their own power has caused the society harm. So we as men are being told not to own that, and that's not good for anyone. As women, in my belief, many sections of the feminist movement are promoting masculine traits with women, promoting more accountant executives, more CFOs, more people to ignore their families, more women to cut workforce, whereas what we really need is we need more feminine in the workplace. We need more feminine in our relationships, more heart, more impact-driven business. So how can we empower both our masculinity that we've cultivated to get things done, to fight the old paradigm, while integrating as men and women our hearts to have more impact-driven initiatives? So that's just something that we all need to think about and feel into how we can do our part. Does anyone here have any thoughts about yourself and what parts of your power or your heart you've been allowing? What parts of your power or your heart maybe you haven't been allowing?
I think it comes down to balance again what you said. Thank you for sharing all this. You just said it very true, and there's a need to do something with it. And for me, it comes down to clearing up the stuff within us. And once we are able to, because that's why I think the world is upside down, because we still haven't dealt with our own shit. So once somebody gets to power, their good and bad side that they show up. If they're not balanced, their ruling is not going to be balanced. Yeah? So I feel, for me, it comes down to resolving. That's why I feel like if we heal, we can create a new world. So it comes down to that for me.
Thank you. Anybody else? What's that? Vulnerability?
Yeah.
Can you expand?
Being more real, authenticity.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, so no, I agree with those, and that's very much in line. I believe if we, all of us as leaders, can develop that unity that we want in the world within ourselves, and I call that inner congruence. That's 3 pillars which I have. That's congruence of our psychophysiological wellness. That's our mind, our emotions, our nervous system, and our physical body. And we can develop that alignment by cultivating presence, by cultivating a relationship with our breath and oxygenization, detoxification of our body, of our breath, emotional expression, embodied expression, being in our bodies and expressing ourselves authentically with how we feel in the moment and not how we have to show up or how we'll be received. By elevating our baseline state from the negative bias which our brains are designed to have to a positive bias through heart opening, through elevating our baseline emotions. And that's not saying pushing away the anger, the sadness, the frustration that comes through, but elevating the baseline. And then we can honor the feelings of the moment by nutrition and by fitness. If we can tie ourselves and really create coherence in all of these areas, we can start to, like you mentioned, brother, we can start to heal. We can start to understand ourselves, create that connection, start to understand where our truth lies, where our frustration lies, where our passion lies, where our belief lies. but we need to quiet down the noise on the outside and really spend time understanding all areas of ourselves. So that's the psychophysiological component. The second component is aligning your inner state with your outer state. And what I mean by that is once we connect with ourselves, clearing the blockages that come from conditioning, clear the blockages that come from traumas, undoing the limited beliefs, clearing the limiting beliefs, the patterns, really discovering our true self. Who are we at our true nature? Not what our teachers told us to be, not who our exes told us to be, not who our mom and dad told us to be. Who are we? In terms of our purpose, in terms of our passion, in terms of our inner beast, our animal, who are we? So knowing our true self and our true nature, finding that, as well as integrating our shadows, the dark sides of ourselves, and the light sides of ourselves that we're not willing to look at. The parts that someone will tell you, don't ever say that in front of someone, they'll shake their head. Don't ever act like that. How can we integrate those parts of ourselves that we push away because we're told it's not valuable, it's not right, it's not moral, it's not loving? And the parts of ourselves that we want to be, our ideal self. How can we align all of our true nature with who we want to be and express this as one unified self? This is not easy because this is, for however old you are, 20, 30, 40, 50 years of nervous system training of how we're supposed to be. If we're going to change that and be who we truly are, it requires practice in being who we truly are. So that's the second element, is external expression and internal alignment. And then the third is what we talked about at the beginning, and that's masculine and feminine trait balancing. Being able to inhibit our masculine when we need to step up, when we need to fight, when we need to be in our power, when we want to lead, when we want to create, and be able to step into our feminine when we want to include, flow, love, be, enjoy the pleasures of the moment, connect deeply. So we'll do some practices after I stop talking a little bit to feel how to inhabit some of these things. So why am I giving this talk? Why am I the person to be giving this talk? Who is this guy? You were wondering that? Who's this guy? So I've been on a journey for the last 3 years, truly getting in touch with myself as part of recovering from a chronic illness. So like I mentioned, I was working in the corporate world. I was very successful in the corporate world. And I was working a lot of hours. I was working like 60 to 70-hour weeks, doing red eyes across the country every single week, doing the work hard, play hard thing. On weekends, I would fly to Miami, go scuba diving, learn salsa dancing. On the outside, it was great, but I was hurting on the inside. I wasn't happy that I was not really producing anything of value. It literally bothered me like every day, that I was constantly pushing myself to do someone else's bidding. You know, even when I had really creative ideas, things that I thought were special, it would always get shot down with someone with a cost-cutting reason as to why we could not do it. And it just didn't feel free, it didn't feel good. I ended up falling sick where I was bedbound for over 6 months, unable to walk even to the bathroom. It's been about 2.5 years now that I've been recovering in general. Just about 3 to 4 months ago, I had another big kick up where I'm really getting back in the world and almost back. And a lot of it came from doing this inner work. My full-time job for 2 years has been to figure out how to manage my brainwave states, to figure out how to manage my heart, to figure out how to manage my emotions and my physical body, my blood flow, my oxygen, all of it, to slowly piece myself back because the medical system hasn't had any answers. So I've been on the discovery path. And in the process, not only has the healing happened, but I've had relationships deeper and more expansive than ever. I am doing what I love, teaching men's circles, coaching men to empower themselves and be the best version, live the lives they want to live. I wouldn't trade the experience that happened to me for anything. because it allowed me when I was in bed to say enough is enough. I'm never doing anything on anyone else's terms ever again. And that's why I'm here. I'm here because in my old relationships, I know what it's like as a man, a typical man in his head, to not be connected with his emotions at all, not know what he's feeling and not being able to express it, and knowing how much pain that caused the both of us. I know what it's like to lack leadership in a relationship, to not have my partner feel safe and not have myself feel safe. And I know what it's like to change that narrative and how expansive and deep it can be. And the reason I'm here is because I've served in a lot of leadership roles in the corporate world, and it was always something that was fascinating to me. Who's leading by inspiration? Who here is actually elevating his workforce or her workforce to get people to want to create and be part of the brand and give their own essence to it? And who's just driving through fear? Who's just threatening people, threatening their money, threatening their jobs, threatening putting food on the table? And yeah, that works too. It does work. But it's not the only way that works. And it's something that always bothered me. Even when I was in leadership roles, I always fought for the people who needed me, who could use me, rather than like, oh yeah, I'm wearing the company badge. Everyone loves me because I'm saying what the guy above me or the woman above me wants to say. I couldn't stand that. But I still did it. I still played along because that was the game. No more. No more. So I'm going to repeat. I'm tired of powerful people lacking heart and heart-driven people lacking power. That's the change we want to make. And how do we do that? We want our leaders to be free themselves. When you're free yourself, you're willing to lead with love. When you have your own wounding and then you're given power, that's when it's fun to throw it around. So in my journey, when I was suffering, when I was doing the corporate thing, there are three areas that really felt to me that were causing me a lot of suffering and causing people I knew a lot of suffering that I believe we as leaders need to change. Those three areas are the stress-driven nature of our society, the acceptance of stress in our society. Some people almost wear it like a badge. I worked 14 hours, I worked 16 hours, I stayed all night. I remember having people in my organization who would complain about their wives asking them to go to the beach on the weekend so they can't get their work done. And they would like talk shit on their wives for it. To go to the beach. The stress-driven nature of the expectation is to slog, to drink a lot of coffee, to push yourself, to ignore your health, to ignore your family. We need to change that to one where we first put together health, vitality, energy, so people can actually work inspirationally and create maybe in 20 hours more than they would in 40 going on Facebook half the time. So that's the first thing, is changing the stress-driven nature to one of energy, vitality, excitement, happiness. And productivity will come. I'm not saying let's not be productive. It will come. It's just another way. It's just a new way of doing it. The second way is the obedience nature that has been instilled into all of us. Approval seeking, political speak. I was so good at political speak. All my managers loved me for it. Blind compliance, groupthink. And we're seeing that in the political spectrum, the groupthink. You're not thinking like me? What's wrong with you? So we need to change that to one of individualism, where I think all of us here like to be a little weird, right? We're all in Tulum. We like to be a little crazy. We like to be a little weird. Yes. We need more weird, because weird is unique. Weird is real. Weird has creativity behind it. Weird has innovation behind it. And then the third piece is getting out of the over-logical, over-analytical mindset and bringing in some intuition, bringing in emotional intelligence, bringing in creativity, bringing in that feminine into the workplace, into our relationships, into all of it. I'm yes for logic. I'm not anti-logic. I'm not anti-intellectual. I harbor those traits very strongly. What I'm against is going crazy with it. What we're doing with analytics right now, what we're doing with artificial intelligence, we're pushing away humanity completely in our creation processes right now. And one example I'd like to give is, so I used to work in the Internet of Things, smart devices industry. So like Amazon Alexa, smart cars, anything which collects data, uses an algorithm to make sense of that data, and then creates an output from it. And I was so excited about it because all these big companies, Microsoft, Amazon, are using these use cases that are going to help the world grow, windmill grids, alternate energy, all these great use cases. I actually applied for a job, which I didn't get, at the World Economic Forum, where they were going to Rwanda and putting these sensors to test the water out so they can immediately notify the government when there was water that had, bacteria in it. And a lot of great things that this technology can be used for. Pretty much only nonprofits like the World Economic Forum are actually using it. All the companies that are promoting that they're using this for good, they're using this technology for two reasons. One, to grow awesome new products like smart cars, which I'm not fully against, but shouldn't be the top priority. And the second is to cut workforce, replacing farmers with machines, replacing factory workers with machines. That's where all the investment is going into, when we could actually have so much impact from this amazing technology. Again, it's the analytical mind, it's the growth, it's numbers, numbers, numbers. Everything is turning into a fucking number. And that's something we need to change. And the same thing happens in relationships, right? Ladies, how many times do you have a feeling about something and all of a sudden it turns into a logic battle? It turns into trying to explain it, trying to figure it out, when really it's just a feeling that needs to flow, that needs to be there. It's the truth of the moment. So we as men and women really learning how to balance our logical mind and our analytics, which is all great, our analysis, mind, problem solving, with heart, with flow, with being. So, to wrap up the talk part of it, really, there's a lot of ways we can go with this. In my men's groups, we touch on a lot of different things up and down the masculine spectrum to feel into the different aspects of who we are. And that can be so many different things. Our inner warrior, inner beast, the self-love part of ourselves, the vulnerable part of ourselves. There's really a huge spectrum here. I have over 50 different topics I've touched on. But for our purpose today, we're sticking with power and heart. Being able to be the leaders who can make shit happen, who can move mountains, who can battle those who are telling us that the old world is the one that's going to work, but also the leaders who can feel into what's going to help our neighbor, what's going to help our friends, what's going to help our lovers, what's going to help the people who don't have the power and the skills and the leadership qualities that we have. How can we bring them along and elevate the collective? So, for our first practice, we're going to focus on the embodiment. Everything I like to do is not just about thinking and talking it, but about feeling it. We're gonna practice feeling into our power in a different way. So, I'd like everyone to get a little bit of space. We're going to be doing a breath work. So there's a few extra chairs here. Enough space from your neighbor, about this much space from your neighbor.
Are we sitting or standing?
We'll be sitting. There's a chair here. We have one more chair here, one more chair here. Cool.
We stagger? We okay?
Yeah, I would take a little more space, Athena. Yeah.
Sure, it's not that
Okay. So we're going to do a inner practice. This is a Kundalini practice. To cultivate the feeling of power, of fight, but through staying open. Because normally when we think of powering through things, fighting through things, like I did when I was working that job, trying to move up the corporate ladder, we always tend to constrict. Whenever something is on the line, we constrict. Whenever there's pressure, we constrict. We fight, we force. Men, when we're having sex, we constrict. And that's what leads to so much erectile dysfunctional problems. We're going to learn to open, to stay open through the tornado, to stay open through the pressure, to stay open through the discomfort. So I'd like everybody to, in your seat, find a position where you're upright. Your head being pulled from a string to the sky, erect spine. Allow yourself to have an awake posture. Now bring a little relaxation into it. Allow your belly to fall, allow your chest to fall as it does. Now raise your hand up to a 60-degree angle, V shape. Keeping your spine straight. We're all going to do the breath of fire exercise. So you're going to, through your belly, you're going to exhale. Oops. Keeping your arms up, tucking your belly into your body towards your spine. You do not have to go too fast, but find a steady pace. Continuing on your own, keeping your arms straight while continuing with a steady pace of the breath of fire. Notice when you're starting to constrict. Notice where your arms are tightening or your belly's tightening or maybe in your face, and find where you can bring some openness, some relaxation into your muscles, some relaxation into your body. As you feel the discomfort, acknowledge the discomfort, it's okay. If you notice your arms start to drop, bring them back up. Again, allowing an openness into your nervous system, into your belly, into your arms, into your face. Keep it light. Observe the feelings in your body. Thirty more seconds. If your arms start to drop, gently raise them up. Finding a sense of openness when you want to close, when you want to constrict. Ten more seconds. Keep your arms up. 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, sorry, sometimes life throws curveballs at you and things don't happen the way you want. 30 more seconds. Keep your arms up. Bring some grace, gentleness, openness into your muscles. 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take a deep inhale and raise your arms. Hold your breath. Squeeze your perineum, your arms, your abs. And exhale and slowly allow your arms down. Just keep your eyes closed. Allow yourself to feel into your body. Without judgment or a story, just notice what's present for you. Notice if you're fighting, if you're feeling soreness, if you're feeling fight, if you're feeling openness, gentleness. Whatever it is, you don't have to create a story around it, just notice what's there. Whenever you're ready, open your eyes, come back to the room. I'd like to hear a couple experiences. How was that?
I enjoyed it a lot. And made me remember like 5 years ago that I did like this Vipassana training, which was like 10 days retreat, you know, with like silence and all that. Mm-hmm. It reminded me a little bit of that feeling of just breathing, you know. I forgot about how important it is to breathe until now again.
Thank you. Anyone else?
I always get busy when I do.
Okay. And how were you able to adjust to that feeling?
Just keep doing
Just keep doing
it.
it? Okay. Okay. Did you feel like it was a struggle?
No, but I've been practicing moving a little bit, so.
Okay.
I just follow it.
So how would you describe, since you do practice Kundalini, how would you describe how you faced that dizziness, how you faced that challenge?
You just stay with it and you just breathe through it. Sometimes it drops the speed at which you breathe. But just stay with it.
Just stay with it. Doesn't that apply to a lot of things in life? Discomforts, health, being in situations we don't want to be in. But I love to just stay with it, because acknowledging the reality of what is and not trying to make it disappear, right? Acknowledging it's there. Being able to adjust to it, but acknowledging it's there. I love that. I'd like to get one more.
I think it's interesting that just having your arms up, how they seem to, they point right here, right to heart center. And I ended up having to, at any time I felt resistance, almost like reinforced right here, as like my power comes here and like sends it up. So it was almost like anytime I feel a resistance, it was like even though my arms are already up, it was like moving.
I love it. Your heart is like the power source.
Yeah. Exactly, because your heart is, your lungs, your heart, all the oxygen's coming through here anyway. You can move that up.
Amazing. Cool. Well, we're going to do a second exercise to feel into our power. This will be a partner exercise. So I would like everybody to get up, find a partner, and we will be standing. So find a partner and face your partner eye to eye. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10.
Do you need a bunch of space for that?
No, just enough space to feel like comfortable, but you're not going to be moving. So enough space where you feel comfortable. Okay, so I'd like everyone to face your partner about 1 to 2 feet distance. Pretty close. I'd like you to select a partner A and a partner B. So let's go with partner A with the taller person. Yeah, so raise your hand, partner A. Okay, great. So partner A, you're going to be looking into the eyes of partner B, and you will be taking my cues. Partner B, you're just going to hold space partner A. You don't need to do anything. You just need to see them, feel them, nothing more. So partner A, look into both eyes of partner B. You don't need to view them for who they are at this moment. Look at them as someone who might harm you. Someone who you need to protect yourself from. Someone who needs to stand for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones. Stand your ground. Hold your truth, hold your power, hold your essence. You might need to fight. What does it feel like to look at this person, to protect yourself, to protect your heart, to protect your loved ones? Look deeper into this person's eyes. Feel your power. Allow them to feel your power. Notice in your body. Notice where you're feeling it. Now, partner A, I'd like you to close your eyes for a moment. Open your eyes and look into this person's eyes as if you would fight for them. Look at this person. You love this person. You trust this person. You're there for this person. You would do anything to fight for them. You would stand in your power. You would dig deep. Feel that in your body. Allow them to feel you. Look deeper into their eyes. Feel deeper into your power. Now, partner A, close your eyes. Opening your eyes one more time, look at this person as if you would fight with them, alongside them, for what you believe, for what you deserve is right and true, to protect yourself, to protect your heart, to protect them and everyone you stand for. Deeply look into their eyes, deeply feel them, and deeply allow them to feel you. Partner A and partner B, close your eyes. Take a deep breath and just feel the moment for a moment. Now, partner B, it's you. Partner B, you will now be taking my cues, and partner A, you are allowed to just hold space for this person, to see them and to feel them deeply. Partner B, open your eyes. Both of you open your eyes. And partner B, look at this person as if you are protecting yourself and your loved ones from this person. Look deeply into their eyes. You would fight them for what is right. You would fight them to protect yourself, to protect your loved ones. Feel your power, feel your strength. Allow them to feel you, that you're not getting pushed around, that you're holding your ground, that your truth is your truth and you will act on it. You will fight them if you need to. You will do what you need to. Gaze deeper into partner A's eyes. Allow them to feel you. Partner B, close your eyes. Opening your eyes, looking into partner A. as if you would fight for this person. The love you have for this person. The protection you will give this person. The depths of your heart you're willing to go to fight for and protect this person. Look deeply into their eyes, feel them, and allow them to feel you. Allow them to feel your power. Allow them to feel your love. Allow them to feel your strength. Look deeper. Tell them with your eyes, you have nothing to worry about. Tell them with your eyes, I'll take care of it. I can handle it. Now, partner B, close your eyes for a moment. And flutter open your eyes again, looking deeply into this person as if you would fight with them. You would go to battle with them. You trust them with your money, with your heart, and with your life. They can trust you with their money, their heart, and their life. Gaze deeply into each other's eyes, feeling your power, feeling your strength. Both partners, you may shut your eyes for a moment. Open your eyes, return back to the room, and just look back into each other's eyes, neutral. Just see this person now. You don't need to force anything. Just see this person for who they are. Whenever you're ready, you can return back to your chairs. Embrace first if you're called to. I think everyone's called to. I'd love to hear some shares.
I was telling you, I could not show any type of defensive when you were giving the, the cues to like stare. I feel like you're gonna fight this person.
Yeah.
And like, I feel nothing. No, I feel the same. I could not. Yeah.
What is that? Does that tell you anything?
The only thing that came to mind for me was that it probably means that I'm pretty centered, where it's not easy arise any type of negative emotion out of me. Not sure. But it's also because I know this person.
Yeah, yeah.
I felt the same, like when you're telling us to want to fight, like couldn't get there.
Was it different to fight for or fight with?
Absolutely, yeah. Like I felt our emotions. There was definitely a discomfort in like telling us to like fight, because we knew each other. There's a good energy between us. It was just like so it was almost a relief when we got to switch to the fight for or fight with.
Yeah. That's interesting. And all three of those fights we have to fight. And for the first one, it may not always necessarily be with someone we have as much love for as you had for each other, so that could help. But it's still an energy that we want to be able to inhabit, because if we're going to put the old paradigm to the side, competition exists. Everything exists, and someone's always going to tell you why you're wrong. Someone is always going to tell you why you're in la la land. Someone's always going to tell you why it's not real. And how are you going to tell them, fuck off? Anyone else? I believe, Gabrielle, you had a share coming?
She said that I
Okay.
I was saying, as I was looking into her face so long, I started seeing, when you do look similar, but your energy started to come through a friend of mine. It's really hard to explain, but yeah, it was interesting how you start seeing something other than exactly what you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah.
I also, this past week, I worked with loving kindness compassion meditation. And at some point at the end of the meditation, they ask you to think of just any human, not a specific face, but just feeling that connection as human beings and sending that loving compassion energy. And that's interesting because at some point we're just like in the same experience, right? We don't have the same race, color, age. But when you find that point where these two merge as humans, compassion and love and everything can coexist.
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody else? Amy, go ahead. Your hand was up, Amy. Go ahead.
What was going on?
Oh my gosh, wow. All I can say is I've been cold all day and I am sweating. There's so much energy moving through me, moving through us, and I'm so grateful for Jacob and for you, Karl, for creating this space and for doing such a beautiful, workshop. And it was, again, so timely for me. For me, what I took away from it was a real sense of boundary settings in terms of my love, because I'm a yoga teacher, very loving, very giving of my energy, and that can leak, especially when I'm feeling this yogic high, into my love life to the wrong people. And then I found myself deeply entrenched with someone who isn't quite on my level of healed or on my level, on my frequency. And so looking into Jacob's eyes and seeing him as basically three different people, recognizing that the person can look very different. You can love them in different ways. I felt like I loved you at one point, but I still had a boundary with you. And that was true growth for me, and incredibly powerful. And I still feel like I might struggle in the future as to, I don't want to judge people, but also I want to keep a safe boundary with them. And of course that challenges will always come along, but I think this is a beautiful, beautiful practice to just do every once in a while, to remember how each of those feelings can feel. And remember that the most important love is the love that we have for ourselves and our family. There's true love is. And like Ina was saying yesterday, maybe on Wednesday, only when you're vibrating at your highest level of love for yourself, and it goes so deep, deeper than you ever would think you need to go. And higher, like the higher version of yourself than you ever think you would be. You could imagine yourself at. That's when you find that true compatible love that leads you. I think.
Yeah.
I feel.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jacob. That was so beautiful. And he was just the best. When you were doing the beginning part where you're saying partner A is the one doing it, I was just breaking. I felt like I couldn't hardly hold space for you, but Jacob was so sweet and so passionate and really held the space the entire time.
It might be interesting when I share mine.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jacob.
For me, since some point of time in my life, I have started seeing all of you guys as me as well. So for me, when you said that's attacking or dividing, I was just seeing me within you. So any scenario I was able to accept because I would probably understand, or I was trying to see who it is. But I was just, it was like I felt like it's me. If there was any of your other guys' eyes, it would still be me within you. So I don't know if I was able to play different roles. Like I was just there trying to imagine that attacking, protecting, or being there. Like we are always together here in the same directions on different timing. So I didn't feel any danger or change. Like there were the scenarios that you gave. It was still like all of us together in one piece.
Yeah, I love that, and that's like a maturity in your path, where, because we're not talking about playing roles. The last thing I'm going to tell anyone is to play a role or to wear a mask or to be different people. It's just being able to access different parts of yourselves, to know that you can protect this, that you can protect your heart by stepping into the energies that you need to. If you need to fight, you can fight. If you need to love, you can love. Whatever the moment calls for, that you're able to go in there. And that's when you can drop into the root chakra. That's when you can feel safe, when you know that you can take care of yourself and your heart. And that's when others can drop into you, knowing that they can relax into you. One thing I've noticed the difference, obviously, if I'm in a group full of men who are a little bit corporate oriented, we're about to do a heart-centered exercise. The heart-centered one's more different, and this power one is very easy to access. But the container that we're in here, with all the love and just family we have here, I can see how that stepping into that provides a challenge, but it's a part of you. Yeah.
I was gonna say too, like, I'm interested in the differences between like male, female, 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 male. You know, like, because I know you run these with men, but as women in workplace specifically, we've been told that we need to be in competition with each other. We need to tear each other down. But genuinely, you know, when I started tapping into sisterhood and like really supporting the women around me, that's when everything fundamentally shifted. It's not in our natural nature to be in competition with each other. It's in our natural nature to support each other. So I'm just curious if you run these, or you know, what the feelings were, and we weren't able to access, you know, the other women, you know, weren't able to access that, like, I want to fight this person. We're told we need to fight this person. We're terrible to each other in the workplace traditionally. But it's so against what we naturally like want to do. We want to support each other and be in a community with each other. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. I don't think I could summon that to like want to do that to another woman.
No, that's fair. I'd love to hear what Jacob has to say, and then I'll.
Competition, I feel like it's not just female-male. I think competition in general, how does they help? We should support each other. So competition, I'm questioning if that even is, why was that created? And why is that the right path to follow? I have to be better. It's like they teach us at the school. You have to get better grades. You have to be faster. You have to jump higher. Is that the right way? Or what if we help each other to lift each other? Maybe that's where the future should be. And it's not about men might be in that direction, and then women try to adapt it because you have to go with the business with the same thing. But that's a wrong set of business rules. That's a wrong way of having a business, in my opinion. Because we have been having quite a big company, quite a big business, and it was always family coming together, all of us raising up. It was not, I'm going to sell more, and so I guess maybe it's a wrong setup for behavior.
To speak on your point, I would say I probably would have had a very different experience. I probably would have had the same experience as you if I were to have been randomly partnered with a woman. I probably wouldn't have whole workshop in the same way. It would have been a totally different dynamic because I can be attracted to women, but not typically romantically.
No, I agree with what Athena and Jacob both are saying. Is in our ideal world, we shouldn't have to step into that energy. We've all been to a place where we open our hearts and someone's not willing to meet us there. If we're gonna, so just being able to access that. This should not be anyone's default here. I would not want, this is not my default.
I think the competition was also introduced, so we focus on running around each other and we don't come together and race against the powers that are trying to keep us doing what we're doing. You guys still down there, compete between each other. If it's colors, if it's jobs, just jump over your each head. And that's basically the base rule, so we never come together and rise up against the few that are trying to run the show. I think it's purpose in that.
Cool. Okay, well now we're gonna drop into a heart practice. So I'd like everyone to create a little space. We don't need as much, but just enough where you feel like you're in your bubble. So I'd like everybody to, again, find a posture upright, extending your spine, allowing your head to be pulled to the sky, straight. Position where you feel active, but relaxed, allowing your shoulders to roll back, allowing your chest to fall as it falls, your belly to fall as it falls. And take a moment and just focus on your breath, at your belly. Actually, at your chest, the rise and fall of your chest. Breathing through your nose into your belly, but noticing how your chest inflates and deflates. Take a moment to just drop in. Now intentionally breathing into your heart. Take slow, steady breaths through your nose into your heart. On each inhale, visualize the white light in your heart. And on each inhale, expand that light. With each breath into your heart, feel an expansion of your heart. Keeping your eyes closed. Feeling into your heart and expanding your heart with each breath. Keeping your awareness on your breath, at your heart. Begin to visualize a time in your past where you were just ecstatic, where you felt incredible amounts of joy, where you felt incredible amounts of pleasure, where the moment just captivated you and swept you away in happiness and in joy. Visualize that while keeping your breath and your awareness on your heart. As if you're back in that time, looking through your own eyes, visualize this as it slowly unveils, not quickly, very slowly. What do you see in this moment? What does your environment look like? Who are you seeing? What do you see around you? Keeping your eyes closed. And your attention on your heart. What do you see? What do you hear? Are you talking to someone? Are they telling you something? Are you hearing any noises in the background? What do you feel? Touch, sensation. Do you feel wind? Do you feel clothing? What are you feeling in this moment? Just feel it while continuing to feel the joy in your heart, expansive in your heart. That white light growing as your heart beats each beat. What do you taste? What do you smell? Feel the event slowly unraveling. As your heart expands, as the light in your heart expands. Now bring your hands to your heart while continuing to visualize all the senses, while continuing to expand the light in your heart. Being in that moment, what does it make you feel emotionally? What are the emotions coming up in this moment? What do you have gratitude for? Feeling the gratitude. Think of a couple of things that you have gratitude for in this moment. Feel it in your heart, expand that gratitude. Take it in slowly, the little micro moments as you expand your heart. Now breathe into your heart 3 times, deep, slow breaths, intentionally. Now take that heart energy and cross your hands across to your shoulders and move that love, move that positive energy to your shoulders. Bring it down to your arms slowly and gently. Spread that loving heart energy down to your arms, your forearms, your fingertips, while still feeling the moment. Bringing your hands back to your heart. Breathing into your hands again, 3 deep breaths, expanding the light in your heart. Now, spreading your arms down your chest, down to your belly, down your torso to your belly, to your hips, to your legs, down your legs, spreading that joy, that energy, that ecstasy to down your body. Now one more time, bringing your hands to your heart. 3 breaths into your heart, expanding the light, the joy. Now spreading your hands behind, up to your neck, behind your neck, up to your head, massaging your head and giving that love to your mind, to your brain, to your head. Coming back down. Take a moment and just sit with what you feel in this moment. Now I'd like everyone to stand up. If you need to slightly open your eyes to give yourself some space, come into space. Feeling this heartfelt energy, this joy, this happiness. Just feel into it for a moment. Yeah. Feel this happiness, feel this joy. Allow it to move through your body. You don't need to force anything, move it as you will. Allow your body to move as it feels. Feel into your heart, the expansion of your heart, that white light, and feel it moving throughout your body, your arms, your torso, your legs. You don't need to do anything, just feel, just move, just dance. Feel free to make any noises that come up. What did you feel like in this moment? What did the joy make you want to say, scream, feel? Woo! Yeah! Yeah, buddy! 'Cause I'm happy. 'Cause I'm happy. What were you feeling in that moment? Woo! Feel that freedom. Can't nothing. Ooh. Think about your present. How are you feeling now? How are you going to feel in the future? How are you going to move? How are you going to express it? How are you going to allow others to feel your happiness? How are you going to allow you to feel your happiness? Yeah, feel it in your heart. Remember not to get lost in the outside. Feel that joy in your heart. And allow it to move all through your body. Any noises, let it out! Woo! All right. Feel free to make yourself back to your chairs or stand or however you feel. Just stay happy. Ooh. I love it. Love the energy. So yeah, that's it. We have so much parts of ourselves we have the power to access. When we need to fight, when we need to stand strong, when we need to create, and when we need to just be happy. Allow the moment to just shine light on us. So remembering every day, and power and heart are just one aspect. There's just so many polarities that we hold that we can access, and how can we look at how we can hold those paradoxes, hold those polarities, so we can flip on the switch to be what our body, what our heart needs us to be in the moment. So, yeah, anybody have any questions, feedback, thoughts?
Thank you.
Thank you. You can stay in contact with me. I have my cards over here. I will be hosting weekly men's work circles, probably starting in about 2 weeks. I'm finalizing the details, but feel free to reach out to me and I can get them for any of the men here, or ladies, any men you know who might be interested. Also, we'll be having a program this summer, or a leadership brotherhood for some of the top leaders to come together and do the personal development work, the self-growth work, while also looking at coming together, grow their businesses in more of an impactful way. So yeah, feel free to reach me on Instagram, Karl Lashkari, on Facebook, and it was great playing with you guys. Thank you. That's all. Yes.
It was amazing.
Oh, thank you, brother. What was your name?
Thank you, Paco.
Thank you, brother. I
And I'll
appreciate that.
contact you to see how can we like do some stuff together or something.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you
great,
so much.
Paco. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna get another dose of you at some other point when you're in your power and when I'm actually able to fully receive
Yeah,
it.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hey, yeah. Thank you, brother.
I'm gonna attend. I'm gonna.
I think I already had this, but I'm gonna
Yeah.
get it. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Thank you for going all
So
out.
special.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it. So it was, look at them like you need to protect yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
Look at them like
Like, yeah, you would protect yourself from them.
Yeah.
You would protect them, and then you would go with them. Yeah, yeah. It's funny because when I do in the men's circles, it's actually, would you kill this person? But I decided to not go there for this group, and I'm glad I did with some of the
Wow,
feedback
yeah,
I got.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally different with women versus men.
Yeah, yeah.
And mixed groups, I
Yeah.
think, as we found out, right?
Yeah, and even like more conscious community, that type of thing too. But that's a feeling that is good to, especially for men, to tap into, to your killer. So
Why is that?
so you don't play victim to something. So you don't feel like powerless. So you don't feel like, you know what I mean?
empowered,
Yeah. When it comes to just embodying an energy, you know, to me, there's no boundaries.
Yeah.
It's not, you're not doing it. You're not going out in the world.
I wonder if that's good for women too, though. Like,
Yeah.
because I'm not sure if you heard, like, what I experienced this weekend. It was like a crazy, basically a molester guy in our hostel. And
Okay.
there was several women, myself included, who
Yeah.
didn't activate that killer mode and get him out.
Yeah.
And it took,
Exactly.
And it took someone, she happened to be a lesbian,
Yeah.
you know, a
Yeah.
lot of masculine energy to come in and recognize.
Wouldn't that
something
be
needed
a
to be
good
done.
to be able to step
Yes.
into that? That's kind of the, yeah.
Part of why this was so powerful for me. It's like, wow, you really need to sometimes get someone out.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
do need to be
Yeah.
empowered as a woman as well, just because
Absolutely, because
it's kind of a
I'm
man's world.
a yes to the love and light, but we live in this world that exists as it does. And we have to be and play in this world as it exists, right?
And I love that. We need the balance of the masculine and the feminine.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah,
brother.
brother. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Remind me your name, bro?
Johnny.
Johnny. Cool.
Carl.
Yeah. Thanks for joining. Thanks for I was feeling you feeling into it and really deeply playing full out. So
Yeah, it was good. Danielle and I have been friends for 5 years, and we just realized we like never stared into each other's eyes.
Oh, wow.
It was a
Wow.
moment of like, wow, we actually have never connected like that. So it's very good.
Okay. Beautiful.
But thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
It's a good message, absolutely, and that heart-centered leadership is something that we could totally use more of.
Yeah, absolutely. So